Guys, so today we're going to talk about what to do once you finish your manuscript. So you've written it, you've self-edited it, depending on what route you choose, it's gone through alpha readers, editor, beta readers. You're now ready to decide what route you want to take. The first route, the route that most people really are interested in, is traditional publishing. Traditional publishing is a significantly easier for writers in the sense that there's not a whole lot that you have to do. They will edit your book for you. They will get a cover artist for you, and they will publish the book for you. They do not require you to pay for anything up front. And typically, depending on who you sign with, they give you an advance, and then they get a cut of the royalties from the books that you do sell. Traditional publishing also tends to handle the marketing themselves as well, so that again, as a writer, you don't have to do all of that. That's the pros. The cons for traditional publishing fall into where they end up. You have to get an agent. A lot of publishers do not like to be approached by authors themselves. You have to have an agent who will approach them for you and try to market your book, to sell your book to these publishers. So getting an agent is the first step, which means you have to write a query letter. And you have to be able to compare your book to other books so that agents will be interested and ask for a full manuscript, which is always the key. So you want them to ask for a full manuscript, because then if they like it, they're more likely to sign you so that they can try and find what you need. Unfortunately, a lot of times what you'll run into is that the agent will really like your book, but no publishers will want to touch it. Under that, you have your vanity press. Vanity presses are not traditional publishers. Vanity presses charge you money. I've heard anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 for them to publish your book. They claim they edit it. There is no actual guarantee. A lot of times they take what you send them and format it and stick it in a book, and then they charge you to buy copies of the book from them. And even sometimes you have to buy a part, it's in your contract that you have to buy a certain number of copies from them. The problem with vanity press is that they tend to sucker a lot of authors, because they will find you. They will find you on social media. They will find you where you're, posting your work. And then they will approach you as if they were an actual publisher and be like, oh, well, we'll publish your book if you pay us this money. And that is your first warning sign. Traditional publishers do not ask for money. Traditional publishers pay you. Vanity presses want you to pay them. It's how they stay in business. They're not staying in business by selling copious amounts of people's books. They're staying in business because authors are paying them to make their books into books. Like that's where that comes from. Then you have a hybrid press. They do a combination of traditional and vanity. And another thing, vanity presses don't market. So they get your book out there, and then you have to do all the marketing. And I have found that marketing is probably the hardest part for a lot of authors, because we really don't know how to sell ourselves. It's hard to figure out how to gain more readers when you want to talk about your books, So a lot of times what you'll run into is, or you may come upon a vanity or a hybrid publisher, which means that they do some traditional publishing. So for some books, they do give an advance and they do all the work. And then some books, they have you pay them a fee to get the book out there for you. Again, hybrid publishers don't really do a whole lot of the marketing themselves. They tend to leave that up to the author. There's a little bit of a people kind of tend to look down on, because they think they're like vanity presses, and they're not. They definitely are a step above vanity presses, that's for sure. And small presses kind of get thrown into this because, well, it's a small press, so they're not going to be able to pay you a whole lot of money. And look, if someone wanted to take my book and do all the work for me and not charge me anything, and then just pay me out royalties after, yeah, I'm down for that. Let's do that, right? Then you have self-publishing. In self-publishing, you typically see through Smashwords, KDP. Self-publishing is where the author does everything. So you get the book edited, you pay for the cover, you do the formatting, and then you post it up online. Kindle now offers hardcover options for self-publishing authors. Right now I think it's on beta testing, so I haven't seen a whole lot of those, but they do have paperback, they do have ebook. And then Smashwords does the same. Smashwords has, and Ingram Spark is another good one. Now, I have never personally used Smashwords or Ingram Spark. I am solely on Amazon because I make most of my money through Kindle Unlimited. That's where I get the majority of my reads. From what I have seen, I believe with Ingram Spark, there's a fee that you pay to publish your book with them. I am not sure of the price of the fee. I prefer Amazon just because it's free to do everything. I get my cover done. I have learned how to format my own book. Amazon has a ton of helpful tips on how to format your books to properly put it up onto their site. But I always say, if you put it up there, make sure you go through page by page by page and make sure that book looks exactly the way you want it to look before you upload it. Because trust me, it's no fun getting your author copy and reading through it and realizing that your words aren't connecting to each other. Been there, done that. It was a headache. It took me a week to figure out what I had done wrong. Trust me. Formatting can be a pain in the behind, but once you get it down and you can do it, it goes smoothly, and then the book looks good. And the whole point is to make the book look as professional as possible, because people tend to judge self-published books harsher than they do traditional published books, which makes me kind of laugh, because you're looking at a book that was done by someone by themselves. Like, they paid an editor, they got a cover artist, they did the formatting themselves, they put this book out, and you're laughing at them and picking on them because, oh, well, it's not up to the standard of traditional publishing. I have found mistakes in traditionally published books. I have read some traditionally published books and been very disappointed by them. So I don't think that traditionally published is any better than self-published. I believe that it just depends on the writer and what the writer is really going for. Some want perfection, and some are just like, well, you know, I've done my part, here's the story, enjoy. It depends on the type of writer they are. And as a writer, you have to decide what you want out of this. Do you want fame and fortune and to be traditionally published? Which, by the way, being traditionally published is not automatically going to make you famous. But many have found that traditionally published is easier for those who do not have the money, because as a self-published author, you do have to put the money up front. It comes from you. You're not getting it from anybody else. So if you don't have the money to publish up front, then traditional publishing is the way that you want to go, because they'll pay you and it doesn't cost you anything. If you do have the money up front and you want to have full control and you want to be able to dictate when you'll release your books, because I know some authors are into fast releases and they got books coming out every month, then self-publishing is definitely the way that you want to go. It honestly just depends on what you're looking for to get out of releasing and publishing your book. I hope this helps with you trying to figure out what it is that you want to do and how you want to go about publishing. And good luck to everybody out there. Can't wait to see what books you all release.